Welcome everyone to this edition of Talented Universe. And we have a wonderful guest from The Voice on today. But first, I'd like to introduce my co-host for today, Marcia. How are you doing? 2 days in a row
Hello.
now.
Two
Yeah.
days in a row. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. Excitement. Or
Indeed.
not. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I would like to introduce our guest today, Hayden Grove. Hayden, how are you doing today in the lovely state of Ohio?
I'm doing great, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Now, Hayden, I usually ask this to most of the guests, and I'm assuming you might say the same thing other people do, but I've had a couple that have been different. For your blind audition, did you remember it right after it happened, or did you realize what really happened when you went home and saw it on TV?
I blacked out during it. I
Most
don't
of
rem-
them.
I don't remember. Yeah, I really don't remember much about what happened in the moment. And then yeah, like when I went back and saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. So, um, yeah, it was a very unique experience to to be in that moment and then to wait all these months after and then to watch it over again. So yeah, I blacked out in the moment, but then when I rewatched, I was like, okay, kind of remember this and that and the other thing.
Did anything surprise you that you did not remember at all? And you went, "What? Would that happen?"
No, no. Pretty much the only thing that I didn't know was what the coaches were saying behind the chairs.
Oh,
So
behind the
that was
chairs. Yeah.
yeah. I mean that I had no idea. I had no idea what this. So like that was the most exciting part for me was to see what they were doing behind the chairs. So no, I don't really. Everything else was kind of like okay, I kind of remember that and I remember that and I remember having a good time out there and just kind of like waiting and seeing like oh is anybody going to turn and finally at the end somebody did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Adam turns, so
Mhm,
and you
mhm,
picked Adam. My girlfriend. The way it
mhm.
works. But what go leading up to it when you were going through those doors? Do you still remember that?
I do. Yeah, I remember that.
And
That
then you
was
hit
a
the stage, and then
yeah, yeah, right. Walking up to the stage, the nerves were all there. It was all, heart was racing, but like also, we rehearsed it. We had a rehearsal for it, so like it wasn't completely unexpected, except maybe for maybe a couple more people there. And then once you're out there, you're ready to rock and roll. So
yeah,
once the music starts, locked in and then ready to do my thing.
cool. Marcia, go ahead.
Yeah, your audition was kind of unique in itself because um the coaches were Michael, they were saying, Michael, why don't you press? Why don't you press? Because your style is sort of in his area as well.
Yeah,
And then Adam ended up being the one to turn, which was unusual, but once it all played out, it made so much sense. And it's so exciting to see what you and Adam will have in store for us coming up. But when Michael was talking about you walking up to the stage, you're kind of a veteran of that kind of thing because I saw you sang at the Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame, didn't you?
Yes, yes, I did. Did the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It was a
Mm-hmm.
fashion show for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Part of their Hall of Fame induction weekend. So yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
here in Canton, Ohio, which is about an hour south from me. But I was lucky enough to be asked to do that. So yeah, I mean, I've played the size of the crowd wasn't really the intimidating thing, or it wasn't even really the size of the room. It was just kind of the fact that this is a minute and 30 seconds to impress somebody, or to get somebody to you know press that button. So it was
Mm-hmm.
unlike anything I'd ever done before in that regard. Yes, like I've
Mm-hmm.
been in front of big crowds and sure, but like that was that was completely unique in the circumstances, knowing that all the cameras were going and that this was potentially a moment for your life to change in some way or another. So most
Mm-hmm.
performances aren't like that. So the pressure is not that high. So this was definitely a unique experience in that you're hoping and waiting for something to happen, and thank God it did.
Mm-hmm. When you were doing or thinking about your performance on The Voice that's going to be seen before millions of people, is that your largest audience so far?
Oh, the show, on the show.
Yes.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, that's millions of people. That's, I don't know the exact number, but I do know that there are millions and millions and millions of people who watch. So,
Mhm.
yes, that is certainly the largest for sure, that I've ever performed for.
And how did you choose your song?
That's a great question. So, I fell in love with this kind of genre, this music when I was, 9 years old. I really just, it really just hit me, like it was just a bolt of lightning. I think that it was very, that God had his hand all in it, and it just connected with me completely. And Mac the Knife was one of the first songs that I really fell in love with. It was just kind of, just loved the whole, the everything, the big band, the way that that people sang it, like it just was swinging, and like, it just got me in a great mood and a great place, and like it was so fun to sing and then perform. So I decided for this, because I knew I loved singing, I knew that I loved being on stage, but I decided for my sixth grade talent show, for the middle school talent show, that I was gonna go on stage and sing Mac the Knife. So ever since that moment, kind of when it's kind of my quote unquote coming out party, in terms of the music that I love, because like, I had never really shown anybody before what I really loved. And that was my moment to be like, here, this is who I am. This music is me. Like, take it for what it's worth. So yeah, I did that, and so everybody was pretty receptive to it. There were kids that were not so receptive, but they pushed me to be better, and so it was easy for me. I've sung that song since that moment, pretty much every opportunity that I've gotten. It's not the only song I sing for people, but if I'm doing a gig or I'm doing a show, it's definitely going to be a part of it. So it was a no-brainer to put on the list, and I'm thrilled that we came to that conclusion.
It's kind of like every singer seems to have kind of an anchor song, a song that kind of just grounds them. And is that it sounds like that might be, at least for now, one of the songs that does that for you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is certainly my anchor song. It brings me
Mhm.
back to where I came from. It brings me back to, the days when I mean, falling in love with this music was the easiest thing that I've done. I'm a single man, I've had girlfriends here and there, but I'm not married. So, that's the heaviest and the hardest I've fallen in love, and I have been, in love with this music since I was, a kid. So, it certainly anchors me. I remember it so vividly, the way I fell in love with it, and it will always bring me back to those memories, which are, just
Mhm.
so beautiful to me.
And thinking about the Bublé connection, I first discovered Michael Bublé by accident on in a movie called Playing House, a Canadian movie, and his song came in at a crucial point in the movie, and I didn't know who he was, but that song just stuck in my head. It's the song Everything. You're my everything. And it just kept playing. I thought, I need to find out who this person is. So, and that's how I discovered Michael Bublé. So, how did you discover Michael Bublé in particular?
Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. Another one of those things. I had been listening to, a little bit of Harry Connick, a little bit of, Frank Sinatra, a little bit of, all those guys. Like Harry was Michael's kind of idol, his kind of hero back in the day, one of them. So he started in the 80s, 90s, when he was kind of first coming on the scene. Um, so my parents kind of had his CDs in their rotation. So I was listening to a little bit of him, but then I remember specifically, we were watching the Rockefeller tree lighting ceremony in New York, and we were watching it, in at home, and it was on NBC, and I remember, just hearing the horns like starting the song, and I was like, okay, and then like I heard the voice, and I like my head like whoosh, like turned around, and because I really wasn't paying attention, like I was probably playing a game or something on my, or messing around on the computer or something, and my head just whipped around, and there he was. He had the spiky hair, and I was like, man, like that is the coolest dude I've ever seen in my life. That's the most awesome thing ever. So that was when I got hooked, and started my what would become a friendship and a really amazing.
Whoops, we lost the connection.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's no fun. Hopefully, we get him back in a minute. If not, let's see what's going on. Oh well. Well, while he's on hiatus. Oh, now he comes. Now he's back. Almost. We lost you there, Hayden. I don't know if you can hear me or not. You froze. Yeah. Oh, I don't like when there's technical issues.
It's that Cleveland connection.
It's something. It's something. But I'm thinking, let me remove him and bring him back. See if that makes a difference. And it does not. He's coming in again.
You're back.
You're back.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. Now my air. Now they are. I think they are. I'm on my Wi-Fi, which is usually pretty good. StreamYard has had some problems lately.
They have, yes.
I'm gonna put some blame on me, but I'm also gonna put some blame on StreamYard.
Yeah, well, I would too, because they've been glitchy recently. So, but yeah, so we were just talking about you, so you can look at that later and see what we said about you. But I'm going to go to some questions in the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Justin. If Adam asked you to sing a rock or country song, would you?
Absolutely. I was, if I'm a house, or if I'm a boat, my foundation is the standards, the Great American Songbook, right? But like, I don't think you can build a beautiful home without, a little bit of influence from everything. One of my early voice teachers, who I'm still, so indebted to and appreciate so greatly, was a guy named Michael Testa, and he said you should be able to sing anything, sing everything. Like all I wanted to sing back in the day was this stuff because I loved it so much. And he's like, no, he's like, hey, I know you love it. You can sing in your own time, but we got to sing a little bit everything. You gotta, you have a great instrument. You gotta just give it to everything. So I do love. I sing in my gigs. I sing a little Johnny Cash, sing some, some Neil Diamond, some Elvis Presley. So. Even if he wanted to go more of a real kind of authentic classic rock song, like I grew up listening to that too. So I would love to do that. Absolutely. I think country music is beautiful. I kind of like the old classic country. That's kind of my whole thing is kind of old music, but certainly even some of the artists today do a really nice job. I really love Blake Shelton. Speaking of The Voice. So yeah, of course, absolutely I would.
Yeah, and Justin has, let me give you one of other Justin's questions. This one's a complicated one. If you could sing a duet with any male or female celebrity, singer or band, living or dead, who would it be and why? And then he says, well, since you like old music, maybe the dead people. So.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, somebody asked me this the other day at a gig, and they asked me specifically for a female duet partner. I would say specifically right now, I would love to do a duet with Ariana Grande. I think she's incredible. I think she's got she's kind of like Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett did their thing. I think that we could have like a different thing, like a Ariana and Hayden thing. Like that would be really cool because I think she could sing this music so beautifully. But like also Barbara would be, I mean that's the tops of the tops. Adele would be incredible. Males, I mean Elvis would be that would be, the king, man. I mean Frank Sinatra would obviously be great. Dean Martin would be great. Michael would be great. Harry would be great. So many, great male vocalists. But specifically female, I think that Ariana and Barbara are my two
Big ones.
Two big ones.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
There's one other question I don't want to do with him. What? Now I I'm trying to remember. Are you a cyclist instructor?
Yeah, yeah, I
That's
am.
what I thought I did read. How did that
Yeah.
come about?
Very pretty simply, actually. It's not that crazy of a story. I've been playing sports my whole life, and I try to keep active. And I was I live in an apartment kind of complex, and the studio opened up downstairs, and initially I was not like it was more of like a runner slash weightlifter slash sports athlete, so I would do all that stuff. And I was never really into cycling, so I was like, oh, whatever. Maybe I'll try it one day. And they sucked me in. They were like, we'll give you a couple free rides. Check it out. I was like, okay. And then a couple free rides came and went, and I was like, okay, I think I kind of like this. And then just kept going and going and going. And finally, I hit 500 or so rides. Um, and they were like, "You should just teach. Like, what? You're in here all the time. Like, just get paid for it. So you stop paying for it." I'm like, "That's a great idea. Let's do that." So I was trained, and yeah. So it's not too crazy of a story, but yeah, I just did it so much. They were like, "You should just teach because you do it so often." I was like, "Sure, absolutely." So um, it kind of incorporates a little bit of my performance aspect, given that you're on a stage and you're speaking to people.
Right.
So there's a little bit of the performance there. So it helped out in that way, that I wasn't intimidated by being on the stage or being under the spotlight or anything. And also it's talking, it's not like singing. So but yeah, it's been fun. I love it. I love doing it. It's very much a side, something that helps me to stay active and stay healthy. So I love doing it.
Well, that's a good thing. Marcia, do you have something?
Sure. Well, we talked a teeny bit about this before we went on. You're a sportscaster, and 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 I am a huge sports fan as well. So right now I'm thinking baseball. It's all about spring training. It's all about the New York Mets for me, and I guess it's about the Guardians for you.
Yes, yes, it is. It growing up, it was all about the Indians for me, and now it's about the
Mhm,
Guardians.
mhm.
But I grew up in Florida,
Yes, that's
which
where I am now.
I'm.
Yeah.
Yep. So you're in Jacksonville. I grew up in Fort
Mhm,
Lauderdale. My family is from Cleveland, so I just always kind of had a connection here. And my grandfather was we were very close friends. So
mhm.
he kind of brainwashed me to be a Guardians, a Browns, a Cavs fan, which is I'm okay with. Some days I'm a little upset that I'm a Browns fan, but mostly good with being an Indians and Cavs fan. But actually, we used to go to. He used to come down every spring, and we would hit a lot of spring training games
Oh,
all
cool.
over the place. So we would go to the Indians used to be in Winter Haven, Florida. We would
Yes.
go to Port St. Lucie where the Mets are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I definitely love those memories. Traveling up and down the state with him. It was such a great time. Like we would go anywhere. We went to Kissimmee and to see the Tigers and the Pump or I think it was Palm Beach to see the Cardinals. Like just anywhere that there was a game. So we would go to a lot of different places, which was a lot of fun.
Mhm. And have you, since you're a singer, and they have this song that they sing before every sports game, the national anthem, right? Have you ever either done that or aspired to that?
I did. I did the national anthem at a Guardians game 2 years ago, I believe. Definitely want to do it. I would love to complete there's three professional, you know, all big
Mhm.
sports teams in town here: the Guardians, the Cavs, and the Browns. I would love to do one at each place. So yes, I would love to do
Mhm.
that. I did one at the Guardians the summer of 23, I believe.
Mhm.
So yes, I have. That was nerve wracking too, because that's a huge crowd in and of itself, and it didn't help that I knew most of the guys in the dugout, and they didn't know I sang, so they're kind of looking like, what the hell is going on here? This guy's gonna sing. This guy's gonna sing the national anthem. Then they were like, oh, okay, that was yeah, all right.
Mhm.
I actually, I'll tell you this story.
Mhm.
You'll get a kick out of this. Um, former Indians manager and Guardians manager, and now Reds manager, Terry Francona, obviously was there when I sang the anthem. And apparently he was asked about my performance on The Voice and said he watched it and said it was awesome and said that I did a great job. So I was pretty appreciative of that.
That is very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it was on the record or if anybody recorded it, but I had some buddies tell me that he was impressed. So I'm grateful for that.
And sports fans are tough,
They are. They are. Sport, the one thing that I haven't been asked about a lot, and you bring up sports, being in the public sphere in sports and having opinions, people are nasty. People are rude. People are, they're tough. So, like, part of the Voice experience was like, you're going to have to deal with some people that are not, that don't love what you sound like or whatever. And I'm like, that's fine. That's compared to what these sports fans are saying to me. That's nothing. We're good. We're fine.
That's a piece of cake. So I'm going to close out the sports section, but what do you think about the Guardians' chances this year? What do they look like so far for you?
Last year, obviously made it to the American League Championship Series, which was awesome. The Yankees just kind of had, I think, a little more firepower, and they have a bigger payroll and everything, and that it makes sense. But the Guardians kind of dropped or traded some pieces away. Josh Naylor, Andres Jimenez, all-star players. So they're kind of banking on some of their younger guys coming up and being productive. So I still think that they'll be in contention for the division. I think Detroit's really strong though. So we'll see about that. But I'm excited about your Mets. I really am. I think your Mets are going to be very, very good. Adding Juan Soto, Lindor's already there. You have I think Soto is a huge deal, and I think maybe that's what'll take the Mets over the top. I really hope.
Well, I'm going to save this clip of you talking to the Mets, and I'm going to send it to my people.
Let's go Mets.
You made her day.
Listen, I grew up an Indians fan, and I still am a Guardians fan. You have to put away your fandom when you are a journalist, but I'm always rooting for the underdog, and the Mets are definitely the underdog. So I've always been a Mets over Yankees guy.
Awesome. I'm going to stay in touch with you about this season. We're going to have some fun, I think.
Oh, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I do like the Dodgers as well in the NL. I love Shohei, but if it's Mets Dodgers again, I'm rooting for the Mets. The Dodgers have had their time.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, back to The Voice now. Do you have viewing parties? Are you going to have viewing parties or?
I had a really intimate thing with some of my really close friends when I watched the first episode. This time, I don't know. I don't know what the next episode will hold. I don't know if it'll be a big group or a small group. But I don't know exactly what the guidelines for that from the show are. So we'll see. It was kind of funny. It was my birthday when the show came out. Like the episode that I was on my birthday, which was crazy.
Aww.
Yeah, it was. I mean, like I said, divine intervention. I think God had a hand in that. So it was kind of the line between like, well, should I just celebrate my birthday and go big and then we'll watch the show, or should we just keep it small? So I was like, yeah, let's just keep it small. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Super. Okay, Michael, I've dominated enough.
Well, no, that's fine. That's fine because we've only got a few more minutes. But I just, before I forget, Hayden, I know this was a last minute podcast for you, but I really do appreciate you coming and willing to do it.
No
drove
problem.
me crazy last night getting everything ready, but
no problem.
That was okay. That was okay.
As long as you're, as long as you're good, I like talking. So
there you go.
It's a lot easier than talking's a lot easier than singing. So I'll talk all day.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. I would invite you to one of our other shows, but it might be a conflict of interest. And I don't think the main host, I think he would be, what would you say, Marcia, intimidated by all of Hayden's knowledge? Would you say might be the case? But anyway, some of the hosts do a sports show on Saturday morning.
Good time.
Yeah.
We have a good
So,
time. We have a
yeah.
good
So
time.
it can get a little crazy. So kind of what you were saying. Yeah.
But you know, sports fans, Hayden. You know, we're all passionate. So
I do. I definitely. If I know anything, I know sports fans. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, we figured. But anyway, but that's just out there on the table. If you ever want to do that, let me know, and let them I let you surprise them because they like surprises.
All right. All right. Hey, well, let's
it's
do
been
it.
on. We've been going 17 years.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
17 years on that show. It was
Mhm.
audio only at first, switched to video in 2021. So
Love it. Love
so
it.
it's been a little crazy. But going back to The Voice,
Yes.
just the last question. Um, let's see. I don't want to talk. That's a Super Bowl question. Nah, I'm gonna skip that. Travis, Justin, I'm gonna skip that one. But
Can I jump in with a question
yeah, you can go one last
about The
question, and
Voice?
then we'll close down.
I'm curious about when you warm up to sing, because their choices. My sisters and I, we used to have a little singing group, mostly church stuff, but we always had a special song that we would warm up to. Is there something that gets you going and ready for?
Yeah. I just kind of do a little. I don't really sing a song. I kind of just do a little warm up with, a bunch of the, it's basically like a drill, like a drill. Just scales and lip trills and just trying to open everything up. So
Mm-hmm.
nothing too crazy. I wish I had more of a great answer for you, but it's kind of
But
like
that's
just
great.
kind of scales and yeah,
Mhm.
just you know,
Get your
loosey
body
goosey.
going,
Yeah, get
get
it
your
going.
tones.
I do like try to work out some like at least the day out, like getting your heart going, getting out and about, whether it's walking, whether it's cycling, whatever. Like that definitely helps warming up as well.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So that's another sports voice connection. So see there?
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close. Hayden, thank you very much for coming. Marcia, thanks for pinch hitting
Thank you.
There you go.
today.
That's good.
I
That's
appreciate
great
that.
fun.
And all of our audience out there, we have another voice contestant tomorrow, and that is going to be Connor James.
Nice.
So
Love
Connor's going to
Connor.
be on with us, and we're working on somebody, believe it or not, for Friday. So we're
Love
going
it.
to have a podcast every weekday this week. Woo!
Love it.
Yes.
But and then we go back on Monday to another voice contestant, Tyler K.
Nice.
So yeah, we're just totally busy.
Rolling.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love Connor and Tyler very much. They're great. So who's
Well,
Friday?
Friday, it might. I don't know if I want to say because he hasn't said
Oh.
yes yet. But
Got
it's
it.
someone else from your team, though.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah, and then we'll almost have everybody. It's like only 2 people we won't have had, but which is great. We like that. But anyway, everyone enjoy and keep looking at our webpage, ndbmedia.net, and see if we do confirm our Friday podcast. But as I said, tomorrow is Connor. So at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time. So from all of us at NDB Media and Talented Universe, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Hayden.
Thank you so much. God bless you.